I really tried my best, please watch the video until the end.
I walk toward the massive army with steady steps. The heavy steel tanks crush the dry dirt beneath. They point their large weapons at my small body. I do not fear their loud machines or shiny guns. My tiny bird feet touch the solid ground lightly. System alert. Rhythmic cataclysm is ready to start. The soldiers look at my feathers and laugh loudly. Their deep voices echo across the empty wasteland. I ignore their foolish mockery and close my eyes. I focus on the deep vibrations of the planet core. The tectonic plates shift slowly miles below me. I calculate the exact frequency of the solid rock. My right foot lifts and begins the ancient ritual. I strike the dirt with a very precise, heavy blow. A bright blue fractal pattern lights up the earth. The glowing geometric lines spread out very fast. The front rank of soldiers suddenly stops smiling. They stare at the strange light under their boots. I feel the kinetic energy gather in my small legs. System alert. First step resonance is now complete. A low rumble travels through the thick bedrock now. Dust rises from the dry soil around my sharp claws. The heavy tanks shift slightly on their metal tracks. I lift my left foot to continue the complex dance. My body sways in a very strange rhythmic motion. I strike the earth again with extreme physical force. Another bright fractal connects to the first shape. The ground shakes violently under their heavy boots. System alert. Second step amplifies the deep tremor. Several tall men lose their balance and fall down. Their heavy metal gear clatters loudly on the stones. I watch them struggle to stand up once again today. The third step requires perfect timing from my body. I shift my weight and tap the soil 3 fast times. A massive shockwave rolls across the wide battlefield. Deep cracks appear in the dry crust of the old earth. The enemy commander shouts loud orders to his troops. His angry voice is lost in the deafening loud noise. I prepare the fourth movement of my dangerous ritual. My brown feathers vibrate with pure kinetic power now. I plant my foot and release the stored tension fast. The blue geometric lines spread even further outward. System alert. Seismic instability reaches maximum level. Huge boulders roll down the nearby steep mountainside. The scared soldiers drop their guns and start to panic. Pure fear replaces the arrogance in their wide eyes. I execute the fifth step without any hesitation at all. The promised earthquake finally hits the entire valley. The whole landscape violently shifts up and down fast. Heavy armored vehicles are tossed into the empty air. System alert tectonic disruption is completely successful. I maintain my perfect balance amidst the falling rocks. The human enemy forces are scattered across the field. I do not stop my strange dance for a single second now. The sixth step alters the local magnetic field greatly. I tap the glowing ground with my sharp right claw twice. Invisible waves of force radiate from my exact position. Metal weapons are suddenly pulled upward toward the sky. The soldiers grab their floating rifles in sheer terror. I observe their futile attempts to fight strong gravity. System alert. Magnetic polarity shift is fully active now. The seventh step requires a very deep and fast knee bend. I dip my tiny body and spring back up very fast indeed. The glowing fractals change from blue to deep bright red. The ambient temperature rises at a very rapid pace today. Hot sweat pours down the dirty faces of the weak soldiers. They finally realize that nature itself is their true enemy. I prepare the eighth step with absolute physical precision. My fast feet move in a blur of pure kinetic forward motion. The solid earth splits open right beneath their heavy boots. Hot steam erupts from the fresh dark fissures in the ground. Several large tanks fall into the deep smoking dark chasms. System alert thermal vents are fully exposed to the surface. The ninth step is the hardest part of the entire dark ritual. I must synchronize my heartbeat with the deep burning core. I stomp both my feet onto the complex red glowing pattern. The sky above turns into a very dark shade of deep crimson. A massive shockwave flattens the remaining tall green trees. The vast human army is reduced to crawling on the hot dirt. I look at the terrified commander lying flat on the ground. He finally understands the true destructive power of my dance. The 10th step will end this pathetic resistance very soon. I gather all remaining energy into my small, vibrating legs. My final movement is a simple and elegant, fast physical twirl. I strike the exact center of the glowing red fractal pattern. System alert. Rhythmic cataclysm is fully unleashed right now. The entire wide valley floor explodes straight upward fast. Millions of heavy rocks are launched high into the dark air. Liquid fire bursts from the deep center of the broken crater. A giant fountain of bright lava consumes the screaming army. The intense heat vaporizes their heavy steel armor instantly. I stand calmly on a floating piece of solid burning dark rock. The kinetic force pushes me high above the bright orange flames. I watch the total physical destruction of the enemy forces now. Their previous arrogant laughter is now completely silenced here. The altered magnetic field continues to warp the dead landscape. Floating islands of burning stone fill the dark red sky above. System alert. The local physical environment is totally destroyed. I adjust my brown feathers and prepare to move forward again. The raw power of the planet flows through my tiny bird veins. The lava fountain slowly begins to lose its upward momentum. Huge chunks of molten rock rain down on the ruined wasteland. I observe the melted remains of the heavy military vehicles. Puddles of liquid steel mix with the glowing natural magma. The air smells of burnt metal and deep sulfurous volcanic ash. I breathe in the toxic fumes without feeling any discomfort. My vibrational aura protects my fragile body from the heat. System alert. Aura defense mechanism is operating perfectly. A surviving soldier tries to crawl out of a deep burning pit. His uniform is completely scorched by the intense ambient heat. I tilt my head and watch his pathetic struggle for survival. He reaches a shaking hand toward my floating stone platform. I do not offer any help to this foolish, broken human enemy. The magnetic anomaly suddenly pulls him back into the abyss. His final scream is drowned out by the roaring liquid fire. I turn my attention back to the massive glowing fractal lines. The geometric patterns still pulse with deep tectonic energy. I need to stabilize the local fault lines before moving on. I initiate a slow reverse rhythm with my left foot tapping. A soothing, low-frequency wave travels through the broken rock. The violent tremors gradually subside into a gentle vibration. System alert. Tectonic stabilization protocol is now engaged. The floating islands of stone slowly descend to the ground. I guide my own rock down to a safe patch of solid cooling ash. My claws touch the scorched earth with absolute silent grace. The red fractals fade into a dull gray color and disappear. The sky remains filled with thick, dark clouds of heavy smoke. I walk through the silent ruins of the once proud human army. Melted guns and broken helmets litter the blackened landscape. They thought a small dancing bird was just a funny little joke. Now they are nothing but ash, scattered by the hot, dry wind. I feel a new surge of power entering my small physical form. The planet rewards me for releasing the built-up core pressure. System alert. Planetary resonance level has increased greatly. My feathers glow with a faint and warm internal golden light. I test my new strength by taking a single heavy step forward. A small shockwave ripples through the cooling lava puddles. The sheer physical power is truly intoxicating to experience. I must find the next target to test my full destructive range. The human empire still has many bases spread across this land. I will visit every single one of them and perform my dark dance. They will learn to respect the deep rhythm of the natural world. I spread my small wings and let the hot thermal wind lift me. I glide effortlessly over the massive glowing volcanic crater. The heat updrafts carry me higher into the dark polluted sky. I locate a distant metal fortress on the far western horizon. That will be the perfect stage for my next grand performance. I adjust my flight path and dive toward the new destination. The air rushes past my aerodynamic body at a very high speed. I calculate the exact distance and the required travel time. System alert. Next target acquired and locked into memory now. I will need to use a different step sequence for that terrain. A rocky mountain requires a much higher vibrational frequency. I mentally rehearse the complex footwork during my fast flight. The humans inside that base are completely unaware of their doom. They are probably watching the news about this destroyed army. They will never expect a tiny bird to be the true cause of it. I close my eyes and listen to the wind whistling past my beak. The rhythm of the moving air matches my own fast heartbeat now. I am the absolute master of this entire vibrating physical world. The dark smoke behind me slowly fades into the far distance. I focus my sharp vision on the approaching heavy steel walls. This next performance will be even more destructive right now. I prepare to unleash the true wrath of the living planet Earth. The tectonic dancer has only just begun his long, dark routine. The cold wind pushes against my brown aerodynamic feathers. I adjust my wing angle to cut through the dense air mass. The heavy steel fortress grows larger in my sharp vision. Thick concrete walls surround the massive military base. I calculate the structural integrity of the main bunker. System Alert Mountain Terrain Scan is fully complete now. The solid granite beneath the base requires a new rhythm. I fold my wings and drop like a heavy stone from the sky. Gravity accelerates my small body toward the high ridge. I flare my tail feathers to slow my rapid steep descent. My sharp claws grip the cold gray stone with great force. I look down at the busy human soldiers far below my feet. They march in perfect lines across the wide parade ground. Large anti-aircraft guns point toward the dark, cloudy sky. They think their big metal weapons will keep them all safe. I feel the deep pulse of the mountain through my bare toes. This old rock vibrates at a very high and fast frequency. I must alter my dance to match this rigid stone structure. System Alert. High-frequency resonance mode is now active. I lift my right foot to begin the first complex movement. My tiny leg strikes the hard granite with immense power. A bright green geometric shape appears on the gray stone. The glowing lines spread down the steep mountain surface. A sharp cracking sound echoes across the entire deep valley. The soldiers stop their marching and look up at the ridge. I ignore their sudden confusion and prepare the next step. The second movement involves a very rapid double-foot tap. I shift my weight and strike the glowing green lines fast. System Alert. Structural microfractures are spreading now. The solid mountain surface begins to hum with pure energy. Small, loose stones tumble down the steep, rocky cliffside. A loud alarm siren starts to blare inside the human base. I watch them run toward their heavy defensive positions. The third step requires a deep circular motion of my hips. I sway my small feathered body in a perfect rhythmic arc. My left claw hits the exact center of the green fractal. A massive invisible wave of heavy pressure moves downward. The thick concrete walls of the fortress begin to vibrate. System Alert harmonic disruption reaches 20%. Several tall guard towers sway violently in the cold wind. Armed snipers fall from the high platforms to the ground. Their fragile human bodies hit the hard dirt with a thud. I feel absolutely no pity for their sudden physical pain. The fourth step demands extreme speed and perfect timing. I perform a rapid spin and stomp my right foot very hard. The green glowing pattern expands to cover the whole base. Deep fault lines open up beneath the heavy steel bunkers. Giant cracks tear through the thick gray concrete floors. System Alert. Seismic wave amplification is fully engaged. The confused commander shouts useless orders through a radio. His loud panic does not stop the shaking of the solid earth. I execute the fifth step to trigger the first real cave-in. I jump into the air and land with both feet simultaneously. The entire mountain peak shifts forward by several meters. A massive avalanche of heavy gray rocks falls on the base. Huge boulders crush the shiny metal tanks into flat scrap. The kinetic impact destroys their main power generator room. All the bright electric lights inside the fortress go dark. System Alert primary target infrastructure is compromised. I maintain my flawless balance on the shaking rocky ridge. The sixth step will weaponize the local magnetic currents. I drag my sharp beak across the glowing green stone surface. A sharp metallic screech pierces the dusty mountain air now. Invisible magnetic forces grab the remaining heavy weapons. The large anti-aircraft guns are ripped from their mounts. They float slowly upward into the dark and cloudy gray sky. Human soldiers stare at their floating guns in pure shock. I prepare the seventh step to increase the ambient pressure. I tap my left claw 4 times in a very fast dark sequence. The green fractals suddenly turn into a bright purple hue. System Alert atmospheric density manipulation is active. The air inside the deep valley becomes incredibly heavy now. The weak humans drop to their knees under the extreme weight. They gasp for fresh oxygen in the suddenly compressed space. I watch their lungs struggle against the crushing pressure. The eighth step requires a continuous, fast vibrating motion. I shake my entire small body at the exact mountain frequency. The solid granite bedrock completely loses its rigid form. The stone turns into a thick, flowing liquid under their feet. System alert: soil liquefaction process is at maximum level. The massive steel fortress begins to sink into the mountain. Heavy concrete walls collapse inward with a deafening roar. The screaming soldiers are swallowed by the liquid gray rock. I observe the total structural failure with cold calculation. The ninth step will shatter the deep underground foundation. I perform a complex backward hop and strike the purple lines. A vertical shockwave travels straight down into the deep core. The entire mountain vibrates like a massive tuning fork now. A huge subterranean gas pocket violently explodes upward fast. A giant pillar of blue fire erupts from the sinking fortress. System alert: combustible gas ignition is highly successful. The intense thermal energy melts the remaining steel armor. I stand on my high ridge and watch the beautiful destruction. The 10th step will permanently erase this base from the map. I gather the remaining kinetic force into my tiny bird chest. I leap high into the air and perform a rapid triple rotation. My tiny feet strike the glowing purple fractal dead center. System alert: rhythmic cataclysm mountain mode is complete. The entire rocky peak collapses inward upon its own center. A massive sinkhole consumes the burning ruins of the fortress. Millions of tons of solid rock crush the human military base. A thick cloud of gray dust rises high into the cold, dark sky. The violent earthquake slowly fades into a gentle, deep rumble. I land softly on a floating chunk of solid magnetized stone. The purple geometric patterns slowly vanish from the surface. System alert: tectonic stabilization is running smoothly now. I look down into the deep, smoking crater of the ruined base. There are absolutely no human survivors left in this dark pit. Their arrogant empire has lost another major strategic point. I feel a fresh surge of pure planetary energy enter my blood. The deep earth rewards my perfect execution of the dark dance. System alert: planetary resonance level reaches a new peak. My brown feathers radiate a very intense, warm, golden light. I stretch my small wings to test my newly upgraded strength. A fast sonic boom echoes when I snap my primary flight wings. The physical power flowing through my tiny body is immense. I must continue my mission to cleanse this corrupted planet. The human leaders are hiding in their massive coastal city. They believe the deep blue ocean will protect them from me. They do not know that water amplifies my kinetic vibrations. I will teach them the true meaning of a massive tidal wave. I launch myself from the floating rock into the cold, high air. The strong thermal currents carry my light body eastward fast. I calculate the distance to the distant human coastal capital. System alert: oceanic target coordinates are locked securely. A water environment requires a completely different footwork. I must generate a low-frequency pulse to move the heavy ocean. I mentally practice the slow and heavy steps during my flight. The wind rushes past my small beak with a loud whistling sound. I am the physical avatar of the angry and broken living Earth. The humans will soon drown in their own foolish arrogance here. I adjust my flight trajectory to catch a faster upper tailwind. My glowing golden aura protects me from the freezing altitude. I leave the smoking ruined mountain far behind in the gray dust. The next grand performance will wash away their entire dirty city. I close my eyes and listen to the deep hum of the distant sea. The tectonic dancer is ready to create a massive blue tsunami. The salty ocean breeze hits my small brown flying body. I adjust my wing angle to glide over the dark blue water. The massive human coastal city appears on the far horizon. Tall glass buildings reflect the bright morning sunlight. They think their thick concrete sea walls will keep them safe. I lower my altitude to inspect their heavy naval defenses. Huge gray steel battleships patrol the deep harbor waters. System alert: coastal defense perimeter scan is now active. The ocean currents move in a very predictable, slow rhythm. I need to synchronize my dance with the deep water pressure. I spot a tall stone lighthouse at the edge of the large bay. That high structure will be the perfect stage for my ritual. I fold my primary feathers and drop toward the solid stone. My sharp claws grip the cold concrete rail with great force. The human guards below do not notice my silent, fast arrival. They look through their big binoculars at the empty horizon. I feel the rhythmic crash of the waves against the hard wall. The water holds a massive amount of hidden kinetic potential. I must release this stored energy using my 10 dark steps. System alert. Hydrodynamic resonance sequence is fully ready. I lift my right foot to begin the slow and heavy first step. My tiny leg strikes the stone with immense physical power. A bright cyan geometric pattern lights up the gray concrete. The glowing fractal lines spread quickly down into the sea. The surface of the dark water suddenly becomes very smooth. All normal ocean waves stop moving toward the sandy beach. The human guards point their fingers at the strange anomaly. They do not understand the sheer danger of the silent water. System alert. First step, low-frequency pulse is established. The second step requires a very wide and slow swaying motion. I shift my body weight and tap my left foot 2 fast times. The cyan glowing lines expand across the entire wide harbor. A deep humming sound travels through the thick, salty liquid. The heavy gray battleships begin to vibrate in the deep water. Sailors run across the metal decks in total blind confusion. They shout loud orders that are swallowed by the noisy hum. I watch their useless panic with absolute cold indifference. System alert. Second step water displacement is now starting. The ocean level drops by several meters in a few short seconds. The third step demands a perfect balance of my physical form. I dip my head and stomp my right claw 3 times very hard. The glowing geometric shapes pulse with bright blue energy. A massive underwater shockwave pushes the ocean backward fast. The sandy harbor floor is completely exposed to the open air. Stranded fish flop helplessly on the wet and muddy seafloor. The heavy steel ships tilt and crash into the dirty, wet sand. Loud, scraping metal noises echo across the terrified big city. The humans finally realize that a major disaster is coming. I prepare the 4th movement of my dangerous ocean ritual. System alert. Kinetic drawback phase is completely successful. The 4th step will alter the local magnetic field polarity. I spin my small body and strike the stone with both my feet. The bright cyan lines shift into a deep and dark violet hue. Invisible magnetic forces grab the stranded heavy metal ships. The massive naval vessels are dragged backward into the sea. Thick steel hulls are crushed by the immense invisible grip. The screaming sailors are tossed into the violent deep mud. I observe their physical destruction without any real pity. System alert. Magnetic water manipulation is fully active now. The 5th step requires a very fast and complex forward hop. I jump over the glowing violet lines with absolute precision. The displaced ocean water begins to gather on the far horizon. A massive dark blue wall of liquid rises into the cloudy sky. The distant tsunami grows larger with every single heartbeat. Warning sirens wail loudly across the entire human coastal city. Millions of terrified people run away from the sandy beaches. Their weak legs cannot outrun the sheer speed of my dark wave. I maintain my perfect rhythm on the high stone lighthouse top. System alert. Tsunami vertical accumulation reaches 50%. The 6th step modifies the ambient temperature of the wet air. I tap my left claw and release a burst of pure thermal energy. The cold ocean wind suddenly becomes incredibly hot and dry. Thick white fog completely covers the lower streets of the city. The dense mist blinds the running humans in their blind panic. Cars crash into each other on the packed concrete highways. Loud explosions echo through the thick and heavy white fog. I listen to the sweet sound of their total social collapse. System alert. Thermal fog deployment is operating perfectly. The 7th step demands extreme physical endurance from me. I bend my tiny knees and spring upward with massive raw force. The glowing violet fractals turn into a blinding white light. The giant wall of water accelerates toward the doomed big city. The sheer kinetic weight of the wave creates a loud sonic boom. Glass windows shatter in all the tall buildings on the coast. The sharp glass shards rain down on the empty concrete streets. I feel the massive air pressure push against my brown feathers. System alert. Kinetic wave velocity is at absolute maximum now. The 8th step synchronizes the wave with the deep fault line. I stomp the white glowing pattern with rapid and heavy strikes. The solid earth beneath the coastal city begins to shake hard. Deep tectonic cracks open up under the tall glass skyscrapers. The heavy buildings lean forward toward the approaching ocean. Their strong concrete foundations snap like dry wooden twigs. The humans are trapped between the earthquake and the tsunami. There is absolutely no escape from my perfect natural disaster. System alert. Seismic synchronization is completely successful. The 9th step is the absolute peak of my destructive ritual. I must channel the entire ocean weight through my small body. I perform a rapid spinning motion and strike the exact center. The white fractals pulse with an intense and blinding energy. The massive tsunami reaches the edge of the shallow harbor bay. The dark water towers hundreds of meters above the tallest roof. It blocks out the morning sun and plunges the city into dark. I look at the terrified faces of the guards on the sea wall. They drop their useless guns and fall to their shaking knees. They finally understand the true power of the dancing bird. System alert. Final impact trajectory is locked and confirmed. The 10th step will wipe this arrogant human city from the map. I gather all my remaining kinetic force into my vibrating legs. My final movement is a very heavy and precise double-foot stomp. I strike the glowing white stone with my absolute maximum power. System alert. Rhythmic cataclysm ocean mode is fully unleashed. The giant wall of dark water crashes down upon the coastal city. Millions of tons of heavy liquid smash the tall glass buildings. The thick concrete sea walls are instantly pulverized into dust. The sheer physical impact flattens the entire downtown district. Violent whirlpools tear the heavy steel cars into small pieces. The rushing water consumes the screaming humans without any mercy. I stand calmly on top of the high stone lighthouse structure now. The massive wave washes right over my small and glowing body. My golden vibrational aura repels the heavy, crushing dark water. I breathe the trapped air inside my perfect protective sphere. System alert. Aura defense mechanism resists the immense pressure. The lighthouse crumbles beneath my feet under the ocean weight. I float gracefully upward through the dark and violent currents. My small body breaks the surface of the violently churning sea. I land on a floating piece of broken roof from a tall building. The entire coastal city is completely submerged under the ocean. Only a few tips of the tallest steel towers remain visible here. The ocean surface is covered with total physical destruction now. I watch the floating debris with absolute cold and calm logic. Their proud human naval empire is completely erased from history. System alert. The local physical environment is totally destroyed. The white geometric lines slowly fade from my tired small feet. I initiate a soft reverse rhythm to calm the angry dark ocean. I tap the floating wooden board with a very slow and gentle beat. The violent whirlpools gradually spin down into flat, calm water. System alert. Hydrodynamic stabilization protocol is now engaged. A new surge of pure planetary energy flows into my tiny veins. The Earth rewards me for cleansing this deep coastal corruption. System alert. Planetary resonance level has increased greatly now. My brown feathers glow with an incredibly bright golden light. The sheer physical power makes my small muscles twitch rapidly. I must find the next target to continue my grand natural purge. The human leaders still have a hidden base in the deep desert. They think the dry sand will absorb my powerful kinetic waves. They do not know that sand acts like liquid under high vibration. I spread my small wings and catch a strong upward thermal draft. I lift off from the floating wood and fly into the clear sky. I leave the drowned human city far behind in the silent ocean. The tectonic dancer will bring absolute ruin to the dry desert. The dry desert wind blows against my brown aerodynamic feathers. I adjust my flight path to navigate the intense thermal updrafts. The bright sun beats down on the endless sea of dry yellow sand. A massive hidden human base lies somewhere beneath these dunes. They think the deep underground bunkers will keep them very safe. I scan the vast empty horizon with my sharp avian visual focus. System alert. Deep subterranean radar scan is fully active now. Heavy steel structures rest under millions of tons of dry sand. I calculate the kinetic frequency of the loose silica grains. This dry environment requires a brand new destructive rhythm. I fold my wings and drop like a heavy stone toward the high dune. Gravity pulls my small body down through the hot and heavy air. I flare my tail feathers to control my rapid and steep descent. My sharp claws hit the burning hot sand with extreme raw force. I observe the hidden ventilation shafts poking from the dry sand. Armed human patrols walk slowly around the small metal grates. They wear heavy protective gear against the extreme desert heat. I feel the deep silence of the desert through my bare, tiny toes. This loose dirt vibrates at a strange and shifting frequency. I must alter my dance to match this unstable physical foundation. System alert low-frequency resonance mode is now fully engaged. I lift my right foot to begin the first slow and heavy movement. My tiny leg strikes the loose sand with immense physical power. A bright yellow geometric shape appears on the shifting dune. The glowing lines spread quickly across the wide desert surface. A low rumbling sound echoes across the entire empty wasteland. The human soldiers stop their patrol and look around in panic. I ignore their sudden fear and prepare the second complex step. The second movement involves a rapid and heavy double foot tap. I shift my weight and hit the glowing yellow lines very fast. System alert granular displacement process is starting right now. The massive sand dunes begin to hum with pure kinetic energy. Small rivers of dry sand flow down the steep yellow inclines. A loud warning siren starts to blare from the underground base. I watch the soldiers run toward their heavy armored vehicles. The third step requires a deep circular motion of my lower hips. I sway my small feathered body in a perfect rhythmic golden arc. My left claw hits the exact center of the yellow fractal design. A massive invisible wave of heavy pressure moves straight down. The thick steel roof of the bunker begins to vibrate violently. System alert. Harmonic disruption reaches a full 20%. Several tall radio towers sway heavily in the hot desert wind. Armed guards fall from the high metal platforms to the ground. Their fragile bodies hit the soft sand with a heavy, dull thud. I feel absolutely no pity for their sudden physical discomfort. The fourth step demands extreme precision and perfect timing. I perform a rapid spin and stomp my right foot very hard here. The yellow glowing pattern expands to cover the entire facility. Deep sinkholes open up beneath the heavy military transport cars. Giant metal vehicles are swallowed by the angry, shifting earth. System alert granular liquefaction is fully engaged and active. The confused base commander shouts useless orders into a radio. His loud panic does not stop the violent shaking of the ground. I execute the fifth step to trigger the massive sand collapse. I jump into the hot air and land with both feet simultaneously. The entire desert floor shifts downward by several deep meters. A massive wave of heavy yellow sand falls on the hidden base. Huge volumes of dirt crush the shiny metal ventilation shafts. The kinetic impact destroys their main air circulation system. All the bright electric lights inside the deep bunker go dark. System alert primary target life support is completely disabled. I maintain my flawless balance on the shaking yellow sand dune. The sixth step will weaponize the local electromagnetic field. I drag my sharp beak across the glowing yellow desert surface. A sharp metallic screech pierces the dusty and hot desert air. Invisible magnetic forces grab the remaining heavy steel doors. The large metal blast gates are ripped from their solid frames. They float slowly upward into the bright and cloudless blue sky. Human soldiers stare at the floating doors in pure, utter shock. I prepare the seventh step to increase the deep soil pressure. I tap my left claw 4 times in a very fast and dark sequence. The yellow fractals suddenly turn into a bright orange color. System alert subterranean density manipulation is active now. The sand around the deep bunker becomes incredibly heavy now. The weak humans drop to their knees under the extreme weight. They gasp for fresh oxygen in the suddenly compressed deep space. I watch their weak lungs struggle against the crushing pressure. The eighth step requires a continuous fast vibrating leg motion. I shake my entire small body at the exact desert sand frequency. The solid bedrock below the sand totally loses its rigid form. The deep stone turns into a thick flowing liquid under the base. System alert. Deep soil liquefaction process is at maximum level. The massive steel fortress begins to sink into the deep earth. Heavy concrete walls collapse inward with a deafening loud roar. The screaming soldiers are swallowed by the liquid hot dry sand. I observe the total structural failure with cold calculation. The ninth step will shatter the deep underground concrete core. I perform a complex backward hop and strike the orange lines. A vertical shockwave travels straight down into the deep core. The entire desert floor vibrates like a massive tuning fork now. A huge subterranean pressure pocket violently explodes upward. A giant pillar of yellow sand erupts from the sinking fortress. System alert kinetic pressure release is highly successful now. The intense physical energy crushes the remaining steel armor. I stand on my high dune and watch the beautiful destruction. The 10th step will permanently erase this base from the map. I gather the remaining kinetic force into my tiny bird chest. I leap high into the air and perform a rapid triple rotation. My tiny feet strike the glowing orange fractal dead center. System alert. Rhythmic cataclysm desert mode is fully complete. The entire sandy basin collapses inward upon its own center. A massive sinkhole consumes the crushed ruins of the fortress. Millions of tons of hot sand bury the human military base now. A thick cloud of yellow dust rises high into the hot, clear sky. The violent earthquake slowly fades into a gentle, deep rumble. I land softly on a floating chunk of solid magnetized steel. The orange geometric patterns slowly vanish from the surface. System alert tectonic stabilization is running smoothly today. I look down into the deep smoking crater of the ruined base. There are absolutely no human survivors left in this dark pit. Their arrogant empire has lost another major strategic point. I feel a fresh surge of pure planetary energy enter my blood. The deep earth rewards my perfect execution of the dark dance. System alert planetary resonance level reaches a new high peak. My brown feathers radiate a very intense warm golden light. I stretch my small wings to test my newly upgraded strength. A fast sonic boom echoes when I snap my primary flight wings. The physical power flowing through my tiny body is immense. I must continue my mission to cleanse this corrupted planet. The human leaders are hiding in their massive jungle facility. They believe the thick green trees will protect them from me. They do not know that plant roots transmit kinetic vibrations. I will teach them the true meaning of a massive forest quake. I launch myself from the floating steel into the hot, high air. The strong thermal currents carry my light body southward fast. I calculate the distance to the distant human jungle fortress. System alert. Tropical target coordinates are locked securely. A thick forest environment requires completely new fast footwork. I must generate a high-frequency pulse to move the deep roots. I mentally practice the fast and sharp steps during my flight. The hot wind rushes past my small beak with a loud whistling. I am the physical avatar of the angry and broken living earth. The humans will soon perish in their own foolish arrogance here. I adjust my flight trajectory to catch a faster upper tailwind. My glowing golden aura protects me from the freezing altitude. I leave the smoking ruined desert far behind in the yellow dust. The next grand performance will uproot their entire dirty base. I close my eyes and listen to the deep hum of the distant trees. The tectonic dancer is ready to create a massive green disaster. The humid tropical air slows my rapid downward flight path. I adjust my wing angle to pierce the heavy green canopy. The thick jungle vegetation hides their massive steel base. They think these giant ancient trees will provide safe cover. I scan the massive dark forest with my sharp avian vision. System alert. Deep biological root network scan is active. Thick concrete bunkers sit below the heavy green foliage. I calculate the exact kinetic frequency of the damp soil. This wet environment requires a very fast, destructive beat. I fold my small wings and drop toward a giant wooden branch. Gravity pulls my tiny body through the thick, humid green fog. My sharp claws grip the wet ancient bark with extreme force. I observe the hidden metal cameras attached to the tall trunks. Armed human guards patrol the muddy paths in total silence. They wear heavy green camouflage to blend into the dark forest. I feel the deep pulse of the roots through my bare, tiny toes. This wet dirt vibrates at a very dense and heavy frequency. I must alter my complex dance to match this organic foundation. System alert. High-frequency resonance mode is fully engaged. The local wildlife remains totally silent in my dark presence. They sense the massive kinetic potential inside my small body. I look down at the heavy steel doors of the underground bunker. The ignorant humans continue their pathetic daily routines. They do not know that their green sanctuary is a death trap. I prepare my physical form for the ultimate natural performance. I lift my right foot to begin the fast and sharp first step. My tiny leg strikes the wet wood with immense physical power. A bright green geometric shape appears on the thick tree bark. The glowing lines spread quickly down into the deep, muddy soil. A low, rumbling sound echoes across the entire dense, wet jungle. The human soldiers stop their patrol and look up in deep panic. I ignore their sudden fear and prepare the second complex step. System alert. First step, low-frequency pulse is established. The second movement involves a rapid double-foot tap sequence. I shift my weight and hit the glowing green lines very fast. System alert botanical root displacement process is starting. The massive ancient trees hum with pure kinetic energy now. Giant wooden roots tear through the mud with massive force. A loud warning siren starts to blare from the hidden deep base. I watch the soldiers run toward their heavy steel bunker doors. Their heavy combat boots slip on the violently shaking wet mud. I feel absolute cold dominance over their fragile human lives. The third step needs a fast circular motion of my lower hips. I sway my small feathered body in a perfect rhythmic green arc. My left claw hits the exact center of the green fractal design. A massive, invisible wave of heavy pressure moves straight down. The thick steel roof of the hidden bunker begins to vibrate. System alert. Harmonic root disruption reaches 20%. Several tall communication towers sway heavily in the wet wind. Armed guards fall from the high metal platforms to the dirt. Their fragile bodies hit the soft mud with a heavy, dull thud. I feel absolutely no pity for their sudden physical destruction. Thick vines wrap around the falling metal debris very quickly. The ancient forest reclaims the modern human technology now. I observe the beautiful, chaotic destruction with pure logic. The fourth step demands extreme precision and perfect timing. I perform a rapid spin and stomp my right foot very hard here. The green glowing pattern expands to cover the entire facility. Deep sinkholes open beneath the heavy military transport cars. Giant metal vehicles are swallowed by the angry shifting roots. System alert organic liquefaction is fully engaged and active. The confused base commander shouts useless orders into a radio. His loud panic does not stop the violent shaking of the ground. Thick steel armored plates are crushed like fragile thin glass. The powerful root system acts like a giant biological crusher. I execute the fifth step to trigger the massive tree collapse. I jump into the humid air and land with both feet at once. The entire forest floor shifts downward by several deep meters. A massive wave of heavy dirt falls on the hidden steel base. Huge volumes of thick mud crush the shiny metal exhaust shafts. The kinetic impact destroys their main air circulation system. All the bright electric lights inside the deep bunker go dark. System alert primary target life support is completely disabled. I maintain my flawless balance on the shaking wooden branch. The screaming humans are trapped inside a dark metal coffin. Their thick concrete walls cannot withstand the huge pressure. The sixth step will weaponize the local ambient temperature. I drag my sharp beak across the glowing green wooden surface. A sharp thermal pulse pierces the dusty and hot jungle air. The trapped groundwater instantly boils into very hot steam. Massive white steam geysers erupt from the deep, dark sinkholes. The boiling mist burns the remaining soldiers on the surface. They drop their heavy weapons and run blindly into the fog. System alert. Thermal vapor deployment is operating perfectly. I listen to the sweet sound of their total social collapse. The seventh step demands extreme physical endurance from me. I tap my left claw 4 times in a very fast and dark sequence. The green fractals suddenly turn into a bright crimson color. System alert. Subterranean root density manipulation is active. The wet mud around the deep bunker becomes incredibly heavy. The weak humans drop to their knees under the extreme weight. They gasp for fresh oxygen in the suddenly compressed space. I watch their weak lungs struggle against the heavy pressure. The solid steel doors bend inward under the massive dirt load. I feel the kinetic feedback loop surge through my small legs. The eighth step needs a continuous fast vibrating leg motion. I shake my entire small body at the exact wet soil frequency. The solid bedrock below the mud totally loses its rigid form. The deep stone turns into a thick liquid below the steel base. System alert. Deep soil liquefaction process is at maximum now. The massive steel fortress begins to sink into the deep earth. Heavy concrete walls collapse inward with a deafening roar. The screaming soldiers are swallowed by the liquid hot, wet mud. I observe the total structural failure with cold calculation. The entire jungle canopy shakes hard from the kinetic wave. Birds and monkeys flee the doomed area in absolute terror. I am the only living creature that remains completely calm. The ninth step will shatter the deep underground concrete core. I perform a complex backward hop and strike the crimson lines. A vertical shockwave travels straight down into the deep core. The entire jungle floor vibrates like a massive tuning fork. A huge subterranean pressure pocket violently explodes upward. A giant pillar of wet mud erupts from the sinking fortress. System alert kinetic pressure release is highly successful now. The intense physical energy crushes the remaining steel armor. I stand on my high branch and watch the beautiful destruction. The 10th step will permanently erase this base from the map. I gather the remaining kinetic force into my tiny bird chest. I leap high into the air and perform a rapid triple rotation. My tiny feet strike the glowing crimson fractal dead center. System alert. Rhythmic cataclysm jungle mode is fully complete. The entire muddy basin collapses inward upon its own center. A massive sinkhole consumes the crushed ruins of the fortress. Millions of tons of wet dirt bury the human military base now. A thick cloud of brown dust rises high into the hot, cloudy sky. The violent earthquake slowly fades into a gentle, deep rumble. I land softly on a floating chunk of solid magnetized steel. The crimson geometric patterns slowly vanish from the surface. System alert. Tectonic stabilization is running smoothly today. I look down into the deep, smoking crater of the ruined base. There are absolutely no human survivors left in this dark pit. Their arrogant empire has lost another major strategic point. I feel a fresh surge of pure planetary energy enter my blood. The deep earth rewards my perfect execution of the dark dance. System alert. Planetary resonance level reaches a new high peak. My brown feathers radiate a very intense, warm, golden light. I stretch my small wings to test my newly upgraded strength. A fast sonic boom echoes when I snap my primary flight wings. The physical power flowing through my tiny body is immense. I must find the final hidden target to finish my grand purge. The remaining human leaders fled to a frozen mountain bunker. They think the thick ancient ice will freeze my kinetic waves. They do not know that solid ice shatters like fragile glass. I spread my small wings and catch a strong upward wind draft. I lift off from the floating steel and fly into the clear sky. I leave the destroyed jungle base far behind in the silent mud. The tectonic dancer will bring absolute ruin to the white snow. The cold northern winds will carry my destructive dark rhythm. I close my eyes and listen to the deep hum of the distant ice. My final grand performance will shatter their frozen world. The freezing atmospheric temperatures will not stop my advance. My golden vibrational aura provides infinite thermal protection. System alert. Extreme cold weather adaptation is fully active. I fly over the vast green ocean toward the distant white peaks. The clouds part to reveal the massive, towering snowy mountains. A secret military base is carved into the solid white glacier. They use the natural freezing cold to mask their heat output. My deep radar easily detects their hidden solid metal walls. System alert. Glacial target coordinates are locked securely. I prepare my tiny muscles for the most brutal physical routine. The frozen ice requires a very slow and heavy crushing rhythm. I will turn their frozen sanctuary into a giant watery grave. The entire mountain range will collapse under my heavy power. I am the ultimate physical manifestation of planetary vengeance. The freezing white wind hits my small, golden-feathered body. I adjust my flight path to land on the massive solid glacier. Thick white snow covers the steep ancient mountain peaks here. The arrogant human leaders hide deep inside this frozen rock. They think the massive ice walls will absorb my kinetic force. I scan the frozen white wasteland with my sharp avian vision. System alert. Deep glacial radar penetration is currently active. Heavy steel bunkers rest under millions of tons of solid ice. I calculate the exact kinetic frequency of the frozen crystal. This cold environment requires a very slow and heavy rhythm. I fold my small wings and drop toward the highest snowy peak. Gravity pulls my tiny body through the freezing, thin, cold air. My sharp claws grip the slippery blue ice with extreme force. I observe the hidden thermal vents poking from the deep snow. Armed human guards patrol the frozen paths in total silence. They wear heavy white winter gear against the extreme cold. I feel the deep silence of the mountain through my bare toes. This solid ice vibrates at a very rigid and brittle frequency. I must alter my complex dance to match this frozen foundation. System alert. Low-frequency resonance mode is fully engaged now. The thick ice acts as a perfect conductor for my kinetic waves. I can feel the exact layout of their pathetic human facility. I lift my right foot to begin the first heavy and slow step. My tiny leg strikes the blue ice with immense physical power. A bright blue geometric shape appears on the frozen surface. The glowing lines spread quickly across the wide, snowy peak. A low, rumbling sound echoes across the entire empty mountain. The human soldiers stop their patrol and look around in panic. I ignore their sudden fear and prepare the second complex step. System alert. First step low-frequency pulse is established now. The second movement involves a rapid, heavy double foot tap. I shift my weight and hit the glowing blue lines very fast. System alert. Glacial displacement process is starting right now. The massive ice sheets begin to hum with pure kinetic energy. Deep cracks form quickly across the thick, solid frozen lake. A loud warning siren starts to blare from the hidden deep base. I watch the soldiers run toward their heavy armored vehicles. Their heavy boots slip on the violently shaking, slippery ice. I feel absolute cold dominance over their fragile human lives. The third step requires a deep circular motion of my lower hips. I sway my small feathered body in a perfect rhythmic blue arc. My left claw hits the exact center of the blue fractal design. A massive, invisible wave of heavy pressure moves straight down. The thick steel roof of the hidden bunker begins to vibrate. System alert. Harmonic ice disruption reaches 20% now. Several tall radar towers sway heavily in the freezing wind. Armed guards fall from the high metal platforms to the snow. Their fragile bodies hit the hard ice with a heavy, dull thud. I feel absolutely no pity for their sudden physical discomfort. My third step sends a focused wave directly at their armory. The stored explosives detonate deep inside the frozen mountain. System alert, secondary explosive chain reaction is confirmed. The fourth step demands extreme precision and perfect timing. I perform a rapid spin and stomp my right foot very hard here. The blue glowing pattern expands to cover the entire facility. Deep crevasses open up beneath the heavy military transport cars. Giant metal vehicles are swallowed by the angry shifting ice. System alert, glacial liquefaction is fully engaged and active. The confused base commander shouts useless orders into a radio. His loud panic does not stop the violent shaking of the ground. I execute the fifth step to trigger the massive snow collapse. I jump into the freezing air and land with both feet at once. The entire mountain peak shifts downward by several deep meters. A massive wave of heavy white snow falls on the hidden base. Huge volumes of ice crush the shiny metal ventilation shafts. The kinetic impact destroys their main air circulation system. All the bright electric lights inside the deep bunker go dark. System alert. Primary target life support is completely disabled. I maintain my flawless balance on the shaking frozen glacier. The screaming humans are trapped inside a dark, freezing coffin. Their thick concrete walls cannot withstand the huge pressure. The sixth step will weaponize the local electromagnetic field. I drag my sharp beak across the glowing blue frozen surface. A sharp metallic screech pierces the dusty and cold winter air. Invisible magnetic forces grab the remaining heavy steel doors. The large metal blast gates are ripped from their solid frames. They float slowly upward into the dark and cloudy winter sky. Human soldiers stare at the floating doors in pure, utter shock. I listen to the sound of bending steel beams under the deep ice. The structural integrity of the bunker reaches 0% now. System alert. Total structural failure is completely inevitable. I prepare the seventh step to increase the deep ice pressure. I tap my left claw 4 times in a very fast and dark sequence. The blue fractals suddenly turn into a bright purple color now. System alert, subterranean density manipulation is active today. The ice around the deep bunker becomes incredibly heavy now. The weak humans drop to their knees under the extreme weight. They gasp for fresh oxygen in the suddenly compressed deep space. I watch their weak lungs struggle against the crushing pressure. The 8th step requires a continuous, fast, vibrating leg motion. I shake my entire small body at the exact frozen ice frequency. The solid bedrock below the glacier totally loses its rigid form. The deep stone turns into a thick, flowing liquid under the base. System alert. Deep soil liquefaction process is at maximum level. The massive steel fortress begins to sink into the deep earth. Heavy concrete walls collapse inward with a deafening loud roar. The screaming soldiers are swallowed by the freezing deep water. I observe the total structural failure with cold calculation. The 9th step will shatter the deep underground concrete core. I perform a complex backward hop and strike the purple lines. A vertical shockwave travels straight down into the deep core. The entire frozen mountain vibrates like a massive tuning fork. A huge subterranean pressure pocket violently explodes upward. A giant pillar of sharp ice erupts from the sinking fortress. System alert kinetic pressure release is highly successful now. The intense physical energy crushes the remaining steel armor. I stand on my high peak and watch the beautiful destruction. The 10th step will permanently erase this base from the map. I gather the remaining kinetic force into my tiny bird chest. I leap high into the air and perform a rapid triple rotation. My tiny feet strike the glowing purple fractal dead center. System alert. Rhythmic cataclysm. Glacial mode is fully complete. The entire mountain basin collapses inward upon its own center. A massive sinkhole consumes the crushed ruins of the fortress. Millions of tons of solid ice bury the human military base now. A thick cloud of white snow rises high into the freezing sky. The violent earthquake slowly fades into a gentle deep rumble. I land softly on a floating chunk of solid magnetized steel. The purple geometric patterns slowly vanish from the surface. System alert tectonic stabilization is running smoothly today. The mountain peak completely disappears into the deep white void. A massive crater replaces the once proud ancient snowy summit. The global human military network is now completely destroyed. System alert. Global planetary cleansing mission is successful. The deep earth rewards my perfect execution of the final dance. System alert planetary resonance level reaches absolute maximum. My brown feathers radiate a blinding white and golden light now. I stretch my small wings to test my newly awakened raw strength. A massive sonic boom echoes when I snap my primary flight wings. The physical power flowing through my tiny body is very immense. I am not just a simple bird performing a destructive dark dance. I am the absolute physical god of this broken and wild planet. System alert evolutionary ascension process is beginning today. I float high above the ruined frozen mountain in total silence. The freezing wind bows to my absolute physical and mental power. I look down at the beautiful empty crater of the ruined base. There are absolutely no human survivors left in this frozen pit. Their arrogant empire has lost its final major strategic point. I feel a fresh surge of pure cosmic energy enter my tiny blood. The universe rewards my execution of the final grand task today.
This video and everything in it are completely fictional and original creations by the author. The story is made only for storytelling and entertainment inside the fictional universe. It isn't meant to encourage violence, dangerous actions, or harmful behavior, and nothing in this video should be copied in real life. All characters shown in this work are fictional and are presented as 18 years old or older. This content is made only for entertainment and isn't intended to offend, attack, or harm any person, group, or organization. This channel is more than just entertainment. It's made to share deep ideas, powerful meanings, and valuable insights through stories that make you think and feel in a new way.